I decided to go live today because yesterday being Sunday, I had a lot on and didn't do my usual. I'm sitting in bright sunlight, as you can see, in the beautiful town of Stresa, my local paradise that I live in. I hope you can see the background. And on this side, you can see Isola Bella, which is beloved of many people who visited this part of the woods. So maybe I'll just orientate this way a little bit and turn the camera. I'm not allowed to change the orientation of the camera according to YouTube. So in the background is the beautiful Il Borromeo Hotel, which has been around for over a century, one of the first hotels ever built here in the Liberty style. But if I turn that way, you can see the beautiful panorama in front of me with the gorgeous mountains over that side to Vivania. At 12 o'clock, that is Isola Madre. And then here you can see Isola Bella. And in the distance between the two palm trees, you can see Isola Pescatore, or sometimes called Isola Superiore. And there, beyond the small palm with the yellow dates on it, you can see the town of Bavena. Baveno is there, and I'm going to be here in this beautiful situation. I was going to go to my usual walk, but it's normally full of tourists there. And I think if I do a live, you probably won't hear me. I don't have a mic, so anyway, here I am, back with you. So, what I'm going to talk about today, as I sit on this magnificent bench in Stresa, with the sun blasting on my face. I can't imagine how many lines you're seeing my skin in all its quite aged glory. But yeah, why am I doing a live post today? I'm doing a live post today for a couple of reasons. In that I wanted to update what I've been up to the last 2 weeks on the vlog. Obviously, I've been getting a lot of inquiries about the digital nomad visa and various other ways to come and reside in Italy, the elective, etc. And yeah, I just want to show you how tame the little bird is. You see how cute he is? I hope you can see him. He's adorable. He's coming closer and closer because eating little grass seeds. Can you see? I think normally people probably give him breadcrumbs. I don't have any. Yes, so in my beautiful paradise here, I wanted to update you on what has been going on. So, they released the first drafting of the digital nomad visa, and there were a lot of questions immediately, and I'm not going to go into them, but I will post up there. I will post my digital nomad visa that I did with all the difficult questions answered for you. What I'm going to talk about today is the situation that we have here in Italy, with so many people wanting to come and reside, so many people that were waiting for the digital nomad visa to be released, and what's happening about that. So I want to address something about YouTube. So when I decided during lockdown in the pandemic to start up my YouTube channel again, because it used to be quite big in the early days from 2009 when YouTube was a baby, and none of the YouTubers that are operating now in the top 10 were even adults. I'm sure half of them were barely born. But anyway, that's when I started. And then I froze it for a good 8, 9, 10 years because, yeah, I had other projects on the go. I didn't have time for it. But I started it up during the pandemic, and that was a nice period because everyone was on YouTube, and lots of people were made during that time. They made their careers during that time because suddenly everybody wanted to be on YouTube. They were bored out of their minds, and people decided to do what they could to keep them entertained. I started vlogging daily from Italy with the terrible situation with the pandemic. That was what I did. But we are now 3 years along from that terrible time, which most of us have forgotten about. We'd rather not remember it. When we all had masks on, when we weren't allowed to mingle, when tourist towns like Stresa were just put on ice. And I was still coming here. Obviously, I live close by. I was still going to Lago Como. I saw Lake Como in its most pristine, beautiful way. Walked all my old paths on Lake Como where I was living at the time because there were no tourists. I visited Bellagio with literally nobody. There was one little bar who were friends of mine open. They gave me a glass of wine and some focaccia for lunch. It was just heavenly. I never thought I would see Bellagio and Lake Como without the hordes of tourists, but I did, and I'm very honored and very privileged to have seen that. I also went down to Tuscany to visit friends who had a family celebration and spent the day in Florence, seeing Florence, which was empty of tourists. That was really amazing. It was summer and I got to see that. That was really something. It was last week of August, which is normally heaving with tourists. So I've got to see this country that I live in, and I love it, and it is so broad and has so many amazing facets. And of course, Italy is always reduced to, often reduced to a sort of cliche of, I don't know, as the Italians say, pizza and mandolini, pizza and mandolins, the Amalfi Coast, Portofino, Lake Como, Florence, Venice, all these little vignettes that you see people who visit Italy try to encapsulate Italy in a tiny little vignette of what they did and what they saw, and it becomes a tick box. But when you live here, you get to realize the vast beauty that Italy has, stretching from the Swiss Alps that are just a couple of kilometers north of me. Those big mountains, the very big ones with the snow there, those are in Switzerland. And and the beautiful plains, the gorgeous places you can go to, little towns like Lucca in Tuscany. Lucca, I lived in a couple of years, so there's a lot of beauty around me. So I could be vlogging about that, and I guess sometimes I think I should. But then what stops me from not talking about residents in Italy and helping people? What stops me from just making another travel vlog? And let's be honest, there's tons of them, is the fact that I have watched various travel vloggers morph into becoming renovation vloggers. In other words, they know that the real money on YouTube and the advertising revenue comes from renovating a place, because so many people dream of coming to Italy, buying a little spot somewhere that's really cheap and renovating it. This is a big demographic, and lots of people want to do it, and lots of people want to dream about it. Okay, so what happens is people who were generally just talking about Italy or van life or whatever genre they were in morph into, we bought a €1 house in Sicily and we're doing it up, and now you have to watch us. Please subscribe. Here's our Patreon, please. And so people get onto a platform where they become full-time YouTubers. They leave their jobs. They don't have a job anymore. They don't earn any money other than on YouTube. So their whole lives become about YouTube. And what this has produced, and there are lots of them, numerous people are doing this, most of whom just started off by saying, this is my life in Italy. Look at me eating an ice cream. Look at me in these beautiful piazzas. Look at the beauty all around me. And now they've all morphed into, I'm renovating my villa. I'm renovating my tiny apartment. I'm renovating my €1 house in Sicily. And the inevitable happens. So YouTube is a very cruel mistress. YouTube, if you don't post every week, if you don't make a video every week, will punish you. So it will not suggest your videos if you are not posting on a regular schedule, regardless of how many followers you have. It will not suggest your videos to people on YouTube who are looking in a certain subject. For example, if somebody was watching a video about living in Italy somewhere, one of my videos on a similar subject, residents in Italy, might pop up as an option for them. But YouTube obviously looks after its regulars, the people that earn revenue for it from advertising. And so people have learned that, if they have a regular viewership every week who are waiting for every word they drop, that they can get a nice YouTube revenue from advertising. And so just about everybody does that. There are very few who've decided not to monetize. Why wouldn't you monetize if you can? And that becomes their main source of income. In many cases, their only source of income. Okay, so why am I telling you this? You probably already know this. I'm telling you this because what I've noticed more and more and more, and one of the things that I've always promised myself absolutely that I will never do and never want to do and hope to never do and hope to never be influenced into doing is to use clickbait titles. And what happens when these people become full-time bloggers? I just want to swivel this around 1 minute for you to show you the boat arriving in the morning in Isola Bella. Isn't this exquisite? Sometimes I pinch myself that I live here. I don't know how much you can see because I'm just on my phone. I don't have a tripod. I don't have a big lens. But isn't that magnificent? Yeah, it's astounding. I love it. And all the azaleas are blooming at the moment. So yeah, this is what I'm looking at. This is my panorama here from my bench. Okay, so the clickbait titles. So clickbait titles have to be negative. Why are they negative? And this is the real subject of today's vlog. They are negative because most people have worked out that negative titles, negative statements, negative sensationalistic news and titles make more people click. So a typical thing, let's say somebody bought a €1 house in Sicily, would be, we made a terrible mistake on our €1 house. And of course, everybody rushes to click on it. They would click on it much more than, update 49 on our €1 house in Sicily, which would be the normal thing to do, since you're posting every week about it. No, the clickbait title will come, we made a terrible mistake. Okay, so lots of people click. Who clicks on this? People who are following them, obviously, to find out, something's gone wrong. Or, more importantly, a huge demographic, which are people who want to buy a €1 house in Italy, are suspicious about it for good reason, haven't managed to do it, are unable to get residency in Italy if they bought the €1 house because they either don't want to or don't fit into the categories. There's a huge helicopter overhead. It'll pass soon. I'll just talk louder. And so, yeah, that demographic, people who really want these people who manage to get a €1 house, manage to have residency in Italy, which they can't get and desperately want, and have based their life around. And they're all sitting in limbo, these people who haven't managed to make their dream come true. They're sitting in limbo and they feel quite, can we say sour grapes? They feel quite envious of people who manage to do it at whatever level. And so the fact that these people have failed, or the fact that these people have overlooked something, or they rush, they can't run fast enough. And so people learn that clickbait titles like it's over is another big one. In other words, I'm stopping my vlog, I'm leaving my relationship. It gets used for all kinds of things. It's over is a very common one. I'm leaving Italy is another one, which generally, if you watch the whole 30-minute or 1 hour vlog, means right at the end they'll say, I'm going for a week to go and visit my mum in UK or wherever they come from. But I'm leaving Italy. Oh, so all the people who can't get their dream at the moment because they're stuck somewhere else, or they don't have the funds, or they're doubtful, they all click on this. I'm leaving Italy. They all click on this clickbait title. It's over. We've separated. We've separated is usually, and you only find out after you've watched the whole video right at the end. One's gone to Paris for a week to get something, and the other one's gone to visit their family. But the we've separated, everyone rushes there. Bad news sells like hotcakes. And so a lot of Italian vloggers, and it's not limited to Italy, it happens in Paris, it happens in France, it happens everywhere. This is a very common phenomenon that clickbait titles, or negative titles, or sensationalist titles, whichever you want to call them, make people click. Conversely, if you're saying good news, or you're saying, oh, I got my citizenship last week, or celebration, I'm celebrating 22 years in Italy, which I recently posted on. I celebrated my anniversary of being in Italy. You might get, I don't know, a fraction of those clicks. Nobody wants somebody celebrating about their good news, except your nearest and dearest, and maybe a few very dedicated followers that you've had from the beginning, who know your whole story. Everybody else basically clicks on whatever is most sensationalist and whatever's going to be most fascinating to them. So if they're struggling with going to live in Italy, or they're still mulling it over, then they will click on all the I'm leaving Italy, we made a terrible mistake buying the house, whatever it is. And so it goes, and so it goes. Anyway, so yeah, and so this is something that right from the beginning I decided I hated and still hate. I can't bear it. So if you post and then I'm watching your video and I find out that 25 minutes into the video you still haven't addressed the clickbait title, which is, I'm leaving Italy. You're not leaving Italy. You're leaving Italy for a week, and you used that clickbait title because you knew all the people who have doubts about coming to live in Italy will flock there to find out why you had to leave Italy, why it all went pear-shaped, when in fact you're actually doing quite well, but you need the revenue for YouTube because you've decided to be a YouTuber, and that's your only revenue. And the more people who click on your video, the more YouTube will suggest you, the more adverts you will be able to place, the more revenue you're going to earn, and the better for you, not necessarily better for your viewers, but your viewers see, wow, the subscriptions are climbing. I joined when you only had 2,000 subscribers. Now you've got 300,000. The place where you can earn enough money to live on is about 250,000, 300,000 generally on a vlog. That's a lot of people watching if you think how many millions of videos they have a choice of. But let's remember there's 7 billion people in the world. Let's imagine that half of them have internet or easy access to internet, and that's, let's say under 60 or whatever, and are watching these videos regularly. I mean, I'm not suggesting that older people don't watch videos on YouTube, but yeah, less of them do. Anyway, there we are. And so, yeah, so this revenue thing. Another thing that these vloggers do, and I'm referring particularly about Italy here, but there's lots in Spain, there's lots in France, there's lots in America, the van life category. Do you remember when the young girl was missing in the van life? She made her whole career, and her whole idea was to earn revenue on YouTube, and she went missing and found out that her and her boyfriend, who were traveling in a van together, he murdered her near the Grand Tetons right up in the north of America. Anyway, I digress. The other thing that drives me around the mulberry tree is people who now have to make a sponsored post. So the sponsorship could be anything. And recently I've noticed that many vloggers use Better Life. So a company will see that you have good numbers, will see that you have 30,000 or 400,000 or 500,000 subscribers. Those are eyes for them. They want to buy those eyes. So they will say, we will sponsor your post. And so it's an agreement between the vlogger, the person posting, the YouTuber, and any company. Let's say it's Better Life, let's say it's a sports drink, that's another very common one. Let's say it's a device, something, an IP address where you can watch all over the world without revealing where your location is. Whatever these products are, gadgets, whatever. Suddenly they will offer you a sponsored post and you have a decision to make. Let's say they'll offer you, depends how popular are you, depends what your conversion rate is. Let's say that they offer you €2,000, €2,000 to make this sponsored post, depending on your, it could be much more, it could be 50 grand if you one of the top, you know, if you have over 1 million subscribers. Anyway, so you decide that you're going to do the sponsored post and you're going to make out that this product is the best thing since sliced bread. Nobody could have invented anything better in the history of mankind, and that you use it and it's amazing, and that you're going to offer your subscribers and the people following you a 10% discount or 5% discount or 15% discount on the price of whatever the service is, and only for your followers. Now, I mean, probably if you went to that service, whether it would be, I don't know, Squarespace, vlogs, or sports drinks or whatever, you could probably, as a first time buyer, probably get a 15% discount anyway. But whatever, you are using this vlogger's discount code to get this amazing product that's going to change your life forever. Okay, wonderful, super great. So the vloggers find that way to insert this advertising into that post so that you are forced to watch it, and to make you unable to skip over it. I always skip over, but let's say they don't put it right in the beginning. You're right in, and just before the crucial revelation, whatever the revelation is going to be, how much it costs them to tile the wall you're looking at, or, you know, whether they're going to stay permanently in France or leave, whatever. At that crucial point, that's where they'll insert this paid sponsorship, and you will be obliged to sit through it because you want to know what's happening in the next words. Well, I've learned that I immediately do the 1, 2, 3, then it says skip, and I press skip. I do not watch sponsored adverts. I don't feel the need to actually sponsor people who are earning, some of them up to €6,000 a month, some of them a whole lot more, some of them are earning 20,000 a month. And then other sources of revenue, like they sell products, they print t-shirts, they sell merchandise, they have the cap with their name on it. And then there's a whole Amazon list that you see in their description box where, oh, this is the cool box that we use for our drinks. You can buy it there, and we'll get some kickback revenue from Amazon. This is the book I read this month. These are the knives we use in our kitchen. There's a whole list of everything they buy on Amazon, which is now a sponsorship deal with Amazon, that every time one of the people who clicked on your vlog go to that link on Amazon that you put in your description box, they can buy that thing off your Amazon shop. It's a kind of unofficial Amazon shop, and you get a kickback. You get a kickback every time because you really want to be like these people. If you hunger after, I don't know, living in a villa in France, or living in a chateau in France, should I say, living in a €1 house that you're renovating in Sicily. You want to be like these people. You want to identify with these people. Maybe you're stuck in America or Australia or anywhere, I don't know, Hong Kong for that matter. And you really, you want to be like them, and you want to buy the same knives of them. These are why these people become called influencers. And the influencers that really started this whole movement were the Kardashians. And, you know, at a certain stage, Kim Kardashian, if she posted some products she was using on her face, or, I don't know, sunglasses or whatever, could be paid $1 million American just for that one Instagram post. So And there are tons of influencers, but it's also filtered down to people who are YouTubers who make their living on YouTube. I have a regular job. Actually, I have 3 jobs where I'm earning my living in my semi-retirement, doing things that I love, and one of them is helping people to relocate more effectively and successfully to Italy, because there's so much bad advice out there. But there are lots of people who want to just make YouTube their regular job. And that's a big commitment. And it means that they are forced to post every week, and they are forced to use, well, I say forced, they're not really forced, they could do something else, but let's say they've decided, and they're going to use these clickbait titles because they work. So people who are really bought into your situation. And then we talk about Patreon. So Patreon, and there's other Patreon, but Patreon is the big one, that you should now be paid by your regulars. It can be anything from €5 a month right up to some of the top ones, which are €500, where you get special status to go and maybe have a dinner with them or visit them. These are fans, or stans as we call them, stalkers stroke fans, who really buy into you and want access to you. And Patreon gives them apparently some kind of extra content that they're not going to get from somewhere else. Okay, so they're not going to get that on your usual YouTube. You reserve those extra sort of renovations and extra news, extra little inserts that you've made during the week on your Patreon. And those who sign up for your Patreon and pay €5 a month, or €500 a month, or €10 a month, or €15 a month, all of those revenue bits of money drip into your Patreon, and you can live off that. And they are YouTubers like Kylie Flavel in Tuscany, who I know many of you watch, because, you know, she started off as a girl wandering around Italy looking for her future, and she's now renovating her villa with her husband in Tuscany. Her Patreon pays her living. She often boasts that she's able to stay at home, look after her child at home, and not have to go out and work, because she makes content. It's beautiful content, yes. I think there's a market for it. And you could argue, okay, well, you know, when I watch TV, or I watch Sky, or I watch whatever platform, cable TV, I have to pay for that. So I don't have a problem paying Kylie, you know, $200 a month, or whatever your level is, to watch her content, and that's all good. And this is a model. But a lot of people don't understand all of this is going on in the background of the YouTube videos they watch. And so they genuinely believe that they were just motivated to do this amazing thing that week, where all of it is calculated and everything is edited to take anything out that could be too controversial or could move people in the other direction. I tend to not edit my videos, not because I'm worried about slip-ups that I make. Sometimes I do. I got used to live vlogging during lockdown, as I mentioned, and I'm quite comfortable with live vlogging. If I do sometimes an R, that's part of the deal. But I don't want to heavily edit my videos for another reason. It takes huge amounts of time. It's not a skill that I really want to spend more time and money on, editing every video, putting inserts in. But a lot of people like that, because then you can cut it all up into one minute sound bites, and you can add pictures and other stuff, and you know, you can make something into something that perhaps in its raw state it isn't. And yeah, anyway, so lots of people do that. So why am I going on about this today, you might add? Because I really felt this week that there were so many clickbait titles on my regular people that I'm subscribed to, that I just thought, you know what, I'm actually going to unfollow these people. Even on Instagram, not only because there's Instagram Reels, of course. And Instagram Reels, you know, you're limited to a short video. Then we have YouTube Shorts, and that's the future of YouTube, is that we have these shorts, and they are 60 minutes. You can put music to it. It's not some young people passing by. It's not limited to music, copyrighted music that you bought. They will allow you to post a 1 or 60-minute video of something, and I do those shorts, and that was supposedly the future of YouTube, because the attention span of the average person is reduced down every year to less and less and less and less and less. Let me give you a little bit of scenery so that you can see something other than me. The clouds are sort of moving in again. We've had a lot of rain this last few days. I hope that this doesn't mean it's going to rain this afternoon, but it could. Can you see how beautiful the snow is over there? Yes. So anyway, so I got to the point this weekend where I was about to put up a post covering some of the questions that had come up about the elective visa to Italy, which many people want to know about. And I found myself thinking, you know what? I don't know if I really want to actually do another post on that, because, you know, mine are heading into 500-600 views. But I've noticed that other people, maybe who have more subscribers than me, who post regularly on living in Italy and what that means, this might be better. Look, there you'll get a much better view of Isola Bella, less of me and more of the island. I realized that, yes, even they don't have many views. And they don't have many views because they're posting the truth. And as the saying goes, a little truth goes a long way. Well, so it is with YouTube. So I'm talking truth. I'm talking about my experience of what I actually did to get my residence here, all the steps I had to go through, the difficulties of settling into Italy without language skills. I'm talking truth. And apparently very few people want to hear the truth. That's quite a broad statement, but apparently people don't like the truth. They like their truth mixed in with a whole lot of subterfuge and softenings and whatever, and they'd rather watch somebody who's completely delusional talk about how they're going to live down there in the south of Italy on, I don't know, 800 euro a month, and they're going to be fine because all their friends said it was fine, and they haven't thought about what happened in a medical emergency. They haven't thought about the fact that whether they can even get proper coverage in Italy because they don't fall into the right category. And I started to realize that me posting the truth certainly hurts my YouTube. But, you know, it's what I decided to do, and it's what I'm probably going to continue to do. So, no, sometimes I post shorts about tiptoeing through the tulips, as I did last week. I'll put it up there in Stresa. Or sometimes I post just on a beautiful town I visited. I post shorts, but I also post videos. If you want to see more about how beautiful Stresa is, there's lots of videos. I'll look them up here. Lots of, but you can go look in my stream. Just go to my page, click on my videos, and you'll see there's lots of Stresa, Lago Maggiore, Lake Como videos I posted of beauty spots. You can watch those. But you will find that even other people, obviously there's some professional people who post, I walk in London, or I walking through Madrid, Spain. Those are active walking tours. Obviously they attract a lot because tourists want to see what I can do on a 10-minute walking tour through Madrid or Paris or wherever it is. It's swing this way so you can see this bit of Stresa. You can probably hear the water behind me. Look at that beautiful Isola Bella. And next to her on the left is Isola Pescatore, and behind the gorgeous mountains. And that's Isola Madre there at 12 o'clock. Straight in front of me is Baveno, the city of Baveno, with the mountain behind it. So yeah, so anyway, back to truth. I decided that I would continue to post my real experience of living in Italy, the good, and there's so much good. I live in this paradise, I eat amazing food, cook at home a lot, have great friends here, speak fluent Italian, have adapted, and I'm not an expat. I came here on a British passport. I wasn't born in Italy, but it is my place. It is the place I live. And yeah, you can't hope to come to Italy and just fall into an expat city. Lots of people ask, which is the city with the most English-speaking expats? How is that going to help you? How's it going to help you integrate? Maybe you'll find 2 or 3 people among that big expat group that you get on with. But just because you speak the same language as people doesn't mean that you're automatically going to get on famously with them and love them to bits. There's another point that people miss, is that if you're hoping to do one of your hobbies here, which is, I don't know, doing up houses, flipping houses in Italy is very difficult because of the property laws, the taxes that are due on a house that's been purchased and then resold in 5 years, whether it's your first house, your second house. All of these things have to be looked into. So people who believe that you can come to Italy and just start flipping houses like they do in Arizona or wherever you come from, California, flipping houses in Italy, I suggest you get a big piece of paper and a very well provided pen that has a lot of ink in it, because I can make a list of 500 reasons why flipping houses in Italy is going to challenge you to the core of your being and send you running over the horizon screaming. Not just because of bureaucracy, just because the laws are set up to stop speculation in Italy, and so the property values are pretty stable. They're always high. They don't go up and down with speculation. Okay, so yeah, that's the truth-telling part of this video. I'm glad you could be with me here in my beautiful paradise that I live in. If you'd like to have some questions about living in Stresa, Arona, the towns around Lago Maggiore, Verbagna's over there, straight over there, and those mountains there, I presume you can see my finger, that's towards Como, where I used to live. This big mountain here is Lombardia in front of us. There's the boats coming and going. The tourist season is kicked in, and pretty soon you won't be able to move here. We've had some inclement weather, which has maybe kept some tourists away. But generally, yeah, it's humming with tourists from March right through to October, November, where things close down for a few months. Okay. So from the promenade here in Stresa, let's have a last view of Isola Bella. There, I'll give you a little view. Isn't she beautiful? Maybe I'll do that so you can see. And I'm going to continue on my walk, and let's say I'll see you on the next one. And I don't have a schedule right now, but it's usually on a Sunday. I normally post on a Sunday. Please subscribe if you haven't. It does help my channel. Like, send me a comment. Love to have your comments. Love to have your questions. And see you on the next one. From a mount here on my beautiful Lake Maggiore in the north of Italy. See you soon to talk about Italy. Bye for now. Bye for now. It'll get published, but let's try to maybe give you a better view of what we're going to be seeing. Yeah, the tourists have come, so it's going to get quite noisy from here on out. But here's the beautiful Isola Bella, palm trees, and right now I think I'm going to end this chat. Easier said